Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast. Here with your hosts, Jacob Smedley,
Sam Betts,
Justin Rehammer,
and Nathan Romanov.
Today's topics include the NBA trade deadline is a few days away, and the NFL playoffs have reached the ultimate game. We'll get you ready for it. And some recollection, our 2-year anniversary of the podcast. We'll take a trip down memory lane and revisit some of our favorite moments in our history. Now here's Sam Betts without any notes. Look at this impromptu, some NBA trade deadline. We got a few moves already happening. Sam, any NBA stuff going on? I know you're not too prepared, but any news you got for us?
So obviously the NBA trade deadline is coming up here. A couple of trades have already been made. In fact, here, I'm just going to pull up this most recent one here. Freaking Karis LeVert has been traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Karis LeVert, he's obviously dealt with some injuries in the past there, and he was supposed to be this big asset for the Indiana Pacers. Unfortunately, I don't think they panned out how I don't think he panned out how he thought he would, and I don't think the Pacers panned out how he thought he would. It's very unfortunate, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are actually looking kind of spicy right now. I mean, they got guys like Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. I think Karis LeVert can definitely fill out that small forward role, especially with Evan Mobley playing that power forward spot. He's going to really round out that team really well. This is a guy who can shoot the ball very well. He can move with the ball too. So I think that this is a very good acquisition for the Cavaliers here. Who did the Pacers get? Well, they got Ricky Rubio. They actually got a decent amount back. They got Ricky Rubio. They got a 2022 first round pick, and they also got 2 second-round picks as well. So essentially 4 players for Karis LeVert.
I think the adjective. I'm spicy. Spicy. Get me in the spicy mood, Sam. Love the adjective, but it's a great move by the Cavaliers. You're looking at a team. You mentioned Colin Sexton. He is hurt. He is hurt right now for the season. Karis LeVert, a guy that comes in averaging 18 points per game, a known great ball handler, great shooter. Heck, if they don't even put him in the starting lineup, a great spark plug off the bench for a team that is ahead of their timeline. A team that is a top five seed in the East right now, and Jared Allen's playing very well. Of course, Garland will come back. He made it to the All-Star game as a reserve. Kevin Love off the bench is playing very well. So I think this Cavs team, they're winning now, and I think it's a great move. Of course, Ricky Rubio with the kind of salary dump there, sending him to Indiana. And yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, the Pacers are going through a rebuild, it looks like, and dishing off some of their talent. Possibly Sabonis or even Miles Turner could be on the move as well before that February 10th deadline.
Yeah, exactly, Jake. Another trade we got here. The Clippers have traded Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, and Keon Johnson to the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, the Clippers got a really nice duo in Norman Powell and Robert Covington, 2 guys who have been known to score really well, and they're just really good all-around players. You're also bringing back the 2019 championship duo from the Raptors, Norman Powell and
I was
Kawhi
going to
Leonard.
say, you love that Raptors duo in LA.
They're really good, especially Norman Powell coming off the bench he was very key in that 2019 series, coming off the bench and scoring a lot too. So it's nice to see them come back together. Robert Covington, he's been a guy who's been able to shoot threes. He's played the power forward role a decent amount. He did a little bit for the Trailblazers, also when he was with the Rockets too, playing in that small ball lineup type deal. But I think those are 2 really good players that the Clippers could really utilize and kind of like make like even a bigger push to that playoff spot. Now the Blazers getting Eric Bledsoe, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, and a second round pick. I mean, like Eric Bledsoe's a veteran guy. Like he's not the best scorer, but he's got really good defense, able to pass the ball really well. Justice Winslow's kind of been on a downhill slope recently, not really kind of performing to like his top level when he was with the Heat for a little bit and did all right, but and then Keon Johnson is the younger guy, like and then a second round pick. So it's kind of just like I really think the Clippers won this one. I think the Clippers got what they paid for essentially, and they got really two good. They got two really good players who can help round out their lineup.
Yeah, Nate, I was seeing you shaking your head. You got any thoughts on the matter? The Blazers selling and the Clippers going for it?
Well, that was the first I heard of this trade, and honestly, basically what Sam said, it sounds to me like the Clippers won that trade. They got, I mean, two very solid pieces in Norman Powell and Robert Covington, two guys who have been there, done it, in the league, kind of paid their dues. And, dude, the band's getting back together in LA. Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, shades of that Raptors championship team. I think it's
Get
just a
the get the
beautiful
get
thing
the
to see.
Wolverine meme with
Yeah.
Sam there with the Raptors picture of all of his guys there on the picture there.
Yeah, it's just I think a great trade for the Clippers. I don't know what that trade really does for Portland. They're struggling this year, and I don't see that trade really helping them out that much, if at all. So they might have to be pressing the rebuild button soon, honestly, in my
Well,
opinion.
well,
But
I'll
we'll
tell
see.
you what
We'll
it says
see.
about Portland, Nate. I'm just going to take that torch right from you. It means that they don't care about Damian Lillard. They've never cared
There you
about
go. Yeah.
supporting Damian Lillard. They signed Cody Zeller and Tony Snell in the offseason. Two guys that are sitting on the bench warming the chairs. That's not helping Damian Lillard. And, of course, CJ McCollum's been hurt. But they haven't had a good front court in the entirety of Lillard's career. I mean, Nurkic is good. Don't get me wrong. Covington has been struggling at the four, but you need more in this day and age around Lillard, who's getting up there. And he's a fantastic player, but they have not been able to support him. And now you're trading away a guy like Norman Powell, who was consistently giving you 20 to 30-point games in support. That is outrageous. That is organizational malpractice. I mean, I don't know what to say here. You're trading away guys who are, contributing, great contributors. I mean, what does that signal to, again, McCollum, who's possibly another guy we can touch on that could be on the move here in the next few days, and Lillard, the guy who wants to stay and wants to help the team win, but what is that? What are they doing for him?
I think all these teams are like, since they say the Rockets are like, oh, the Rockets played Robert Covington at the four. Let's play Robert Covington at the four. Robert Covington's like 6'7", dude. This guy's a shooting guard, small forward. Like I understand, like he's like if you're playing that small ball lineup, that's really good because he's a really quick guy. He can get to the 3 point line really quickly, and like he can be an inside scorer. But like you got guys at the power forward spot who are like 6'9", 6'10", like he's just so much better. I think for like the Clippers case, coming off the bench and like him and Norman coming off the bench. Both in the 2 and 3 role, they could switch or whatever. Because I know Norman played a little bit of the three when he was with the Raptors, but it's just kind of like the Trailblazers are just not helping Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is literally doing everything in his power to help this team win, and they're just not helping him. They just say like, "Oh, cool, that's nice. Hey, we're just gonna trade some of our best players." So it's like it's the tale as old as time for Damian Lillard, and hell, maybe in the next year or two we could see him on the move because I wouldn't want to deal with this team either.
Next year or two, if I were him, I would be demanding a trade yesterday. That's just me. That's just me. But guys, I guess talking about Damian Lillard, we have some other disgruntled stars. I won't name names to start. There's one in Brooklyn that I would like on my favorite team. But of course, that's not here nor there. Of course, we can touch on that as well. But Domantas Sabonis. We mentioned the Pacers who just dished away Karis LeVert. There's been rumors about Bradley Beal with the Wizards, possibly him being out the door. It was rumored, it was quoted as highly unlikely a few days ago, but still up in the air. Is there a particular star that you think could be moved in the next few days in the flurry of moves that are set to ensue?
Well, I think Ben Simmons definitely has to be one of them, Jake. Ben Simmons has to be on the move. teams are interested. Like you said, teams are interested. I know the Kings were trying to propose a deal. They were proposing like a really weird, not weird, but like
Saw
here,
Fox and Halliburton
yeah,
for
they're
Ben
offering Buddy
Simmons.
Hield, Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, and 2 first-round picks for Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Matisse Thybulle. That's a hefty sum there.
Take Thibault out, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Take
same
Thibault
here.
out, and I'm fine with that.
You would give up Tobias too.
Yes, he is inefficient, and he's had games where he's just not. He's just, turning it over. He's taking bad shots. He's having a down year, I
I
will
think
say. I
Harrison. I
guess to
think
put it.
Harrison Barnes. I kind of like him there for that small forward position. Like I feel like he would
Or even small ball power forward.
small ball power. Yeah, he's played in that position before. He's done that. He's played in the small ball like power forward spot. Tyrese Halliburton would definitely be. I think if he came to the 76ers, he would come on with Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese times two, yeah.
That would be a very good combo there. I love that actually. And also 2 first-round picks for the future. Like those could be 2 potential superstars for that. I think this is probably one of the best deals I've seen actually now that I look at it. Now, obviously you could go to James Harden to the Nets. That's another option, which I know you like the best.
Because the Nets have zero leverage. He's going to be a free agent this offseason. Ben Simmons and 3 first-round picks. They'll make it happen.
Yeah, I think they definitely could. I really like this Kings deal because one, while James Harden is very good, I feel like he comes with a lot of baggage per se.
Oh, yeah, the fat suit stuff going
Well,
on,
yeah, well,
Sam. Is
there's
that the
that.
baggage you're talking about?
I mean, that's just one. That's like one part of it, but yes. But obviously, Ben Simmons is himself baggage because of his. I think it's just a situation that it would potentially work, but I really like this Kings deal because there are a lot of because like you could take out give them some players that you're like maybe not working for the 76ers and get some younger guys and maybe some experienced veterans
Stop.
too.
Sam, stop it. Stop it. Listen to yourself. The Sixers are trying to win now. You bring in a guy that is going to help. You can talk about that future stuff and depth stuff for as long as time. This team is trying to win right now, all right? This team needs a guy next to Embiid to win now. With Halliburton and the depth pieces, Halliburton is still a year or two away from even his fullest potential as a player. You get a guy like James Harden, who you can pair with Joel Embiid, a guy in James Harden who is averaging 22, 10, and 8. Not to sound like Stephen A. Smith over here, but I'm saying that with Tyrese Maxey, if you can get him without giving up Tyrese Maxey with an experience. Don't get me wrong. Tyrese times 2 sounds great in the backcourt, but with James Harden, who can give him experience and the presence of an all-star superstar to help Joel Embiid, you take that every day of the week over the Kings deal. Monday through Sunday, 24 hours, all the seconds of the day. You take that deal if it's presented to you.
I mean, that's very true. But then, like you said, he's entering free agency. I don't know. James Harden's looking for like
You make that trade for a team that's trying to win now. Embiid is having an MVP season. He is literally leading the ladder of MVP candidates.
all I'm saying is the 76ers have been trying to win now for the past like five for the past like 5 seasons. And I feel
And
like
how many of those seasons was Ben Simmons a liability on the offensive side of the ball because he wouldn't shoot the
which is
basketball?
why they need to trade him. I can agree with you. They need to trade this man because he sucks.
Love the debate, Sam. Nate, any guys you think could be on the move? All stars on the move?
Oh boy. I mean, the whole Ben Simmons thing, just to put this into perspective, I mean, I like the Kings deal, but I also have seen reports saying the Sixers turned it down themselves. So I don't know what's true, what's not true. Like you said,
There's also the reports the
yeah.
Kings pulled out too,
Yeah,
like they didn't
so
want to. Yeah,
I don't know. It sounds like that's not going to happen, regardless of how things go. I don't know if they'll move Ben Simmons before the trade deadline. I'd love James Harden, but the Nets. Steve Nash just came out and said that they do not plan on trading Harden. Now every coach is going to say that, obviously, but they might not trade him. They might wait and let him test the waters of free agency. We'll see. Sabonis is another interesting guy, I think. Indiana Pacers are essentially going into rebuild right now, it looks like. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him offloaded at the trade deadline to somebody for potential future stock for the Pacers. But again, we'll see. It should be an interesting race to the trade deadline. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think one more, I guess, mention before we move on to football, of course. Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams on the fringe there that are right around 500 that Timberwolves, a team that I think I saw a rumor maybe Marcus Smart for them, so I think it will be an interesting next few days with teams kind of, maybe not even the teams at the top, but the teams around the play-in that, of course, are going to be fighting for seeding the rest of the way out. Over to football. We've been off a few weeks. We were getting you into the playoffs. Well, now we have the final two at the mountaintop. Justin, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Jacob. And boy, I've got a great matchup for you. Now, this is the mother of all games, the greatest game in sports, the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals going up against each other. This is a matchup that I wouldn't have called a few weeks ago, but here we are. Here they are. So, without further ado,
2 4 seeds making it all the way.
Hey, man, anything's possible in the NFL. And with that, let's dive right into it. The Rams here, favored by 4 points. They got a great quarterback, Matthew Stafford. But on the other side, the Bengals, they're not going to give up. They have Joe Burrow, and he's had an excellent season as well. Now, just going to bring up some stats here real quick for you. The Rams, their offense, I like them. I like the Rams' offense. They're scoring 27.1 points per game. Their defense, though, is really where the discussion comes in because they're only letting up 18.3 points a game. I mean, they have had one of the better defenses, if not one of the best defenses in the NFL this season. And I think that that's going to be one of the parts of the game that you need to watch next Sunday because that could be the thing that decides this game.
Yeah, I think for sure when you look at that defense, especially at the end of that 49ers game, I think that the Rams, the pass rush turned it on. Aaron Donald, Von Miller at the end of that game put pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. There was some pressure earlier on in that game, but that fourth quarter they really turned it on. And in that Titans game with the Bengals, they're vulnerable up front, and I think that's definitely a matchup. But again, Bengals were able to win that game when Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. So, I mean, it's a playoff record and a franchise record for the Titans in that game. So, but I mean, that is going to be a battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball. They say the battle of the trenches wins the game. I'm no different in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, like as you said, basically, the Bengals' offensive line has been suspicious to say the least throughout the playoffs, and that's really probably my biggest concern for their team going up against that staunch defense of the Rams, with perennial all-stars like Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller, who they acquired, from my Denver Broncos during the season. So it's going to be a tough task for that O-line, who, as we've said, has struggled. But again, Joe Burrow, the guy's playing lights out in the playoffs. He's playing like he's here to win it all, and he's just got the attitude. I really think that it'll come down to one of these two quarterbacks making, obviously a big play, a big-time move to, really secure this championship. But I can't wait to watch.
Well, yeah, of course. Moving on to the other side of the ball, though, we got the Bengals offense also putting up 27.1 points per game. However, the suspect part about this team has always been their defense, letting up 19.7 points per game. That's something that I think also has to be watched is what they do on that defensive side. Because if they can't stop Matthew Stafford, it doesn't matter what their offense does, if they can't keep up with him.
Yeah, I think switching gears, of course, we talked about the defensive line of the Rams against the offensive line for the Bengals. But how about the defensive line for the Bengals against the Rams offensive line? I think Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, that front seven for the Bengals, impressive against the Chiefs. I think a lot of people, that's been really the skepticism for the playoffs, along with the offensive line for the Bengals. Their defense against these power, of course, they didn't face the Bills with Josh Allen, but they, again, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And they of course, we could say all you want about Patrick Mahomes not making the throws, coming up short in that second half, but give some credit to the Bengals defense, which has come to the task. May not have been, again, as you mentioned, Justin, the greatest defense, but under 20 points per game in the playoffs, they're holding their own, and that's all they have to do with the offense that they have.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point that you bring up there, Jacob. And I think that's going to take us into kind of my keys for the game for this Super Bowl, or my rumor report, if you will, unofficial.
Or Reed Hammer's report. We're just adjusting the name there.
Yes, of course. I'm not, CBS doesn't know me yet, so I can't,
Not yet.
Well, for the Rams offense, I think it's pretty obvious. Just take what the Bengals give you. Listen, your offense is better than their defense. Just don't force anything, and you'll be okay, all right? Just run your offense the way you would normally, and just don't allow them to rattle you. And on that same side of the ball, for the defense, for the Bengals, don't get beaten downfield. Make them earn every single yard that they try to get. Extend the drives, give yourselves more chances to try and stop them.
Stop Cooper Kupp, double team him, triple team him. I mean, force another weapon to beat you on the outside. That would be in conjunction with that key, my key as well.
Yeah, you don't want to end up getting burnt like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did at the end of that game, as we saw. So you got to lock up Kupp. It's a must. Odell's out there too. They have weapons. You got to keep them in front of you. You can't let them have explosive plays.
Yeah, I'd rather have Odell give him 120 than have Kupp do his thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a great point. But on the other side of that ball, though, for the Bengals offense, all you got to do, limit the run plays that you do and keep your passes quick. They have that great defensive line. Aaron Donald is just going to be teeing off if you're going for long plays every single time. So limit the run plays because they're going to stop those almost every time, and keep that passing game to the short, quick passes, something that doesn't make Joe Burrow have to hold it, doesn't make him have to try and roll out, because he's going to be caught by Aaron Donald more than you think.
Yeah, but I think, Justin, I think, quick passes, certainly. I think they're going to have to utilize that. But I'm of the opposite belief in the way that they need to at least have a running game. They might not be getting 5-6 yards a carry, but to be able to establish the play action, the bootleg, to get Joe Burrow out of the pocket. You might not have all day for the play action, but at least that presence to get the linebackers and at least have the run game to wear out that front seven of the Rams. If they have longer drives, or they at least can get 1, 2, maybe even 3 yards on the ground first down wise, you can have that running game, set up the play action with Burrow, maybe have 1 or 2 of those longer plays. Of course, the quick plays, they're going to have to get that with short screens with Jamar Chase that they were utilizing before in the playoffs. T. Higgins on slants and getting him and the tight ends Uzoma moving in open field. But I think they gotta run the ball, at least establish it to work down that defensive line.
Yeah, I agree. You got to use the run game. You have to keep that defense off balance. So quick, short passes, you don't want to risk too many sacks in this game, obviously, for that defensive line. But, don't just dismiss, Joe knockout punch Mixon, My guy knows how to run the ball, so he's a good running back. You got to give it to him sometimes. Just keep the defense off balance, be quick and, extend the drives.
Even P-Ryan, the backup, having that kind of duo there, spelling each other like that.
Yeah, and then for the Rams defense, I think the key right here, contain Joe Burrow. Don't let him get outside the pocket. Don't let him get on the run, because that's where he becomes most dangerous. Especially with Jamar Chase running out, you just got to keep him contained in the pocket. And if you do, that stout front seven, they're going to get pressure on him very quickly, and they're going to force errant throws or sacks.
I'm going to be very interested to see if on that side of the ball, if Jalen Ramsey is completely shadowing Jamar Chase the whole game, if he's playing just on a certain side, and if they trust, I think it was Williams who was on the other side in the 49ers game, because that might be a strength for the Bengals. You look at their wide receiver depth of Chase. Of course, Ramsey will be on, one of the outside guys, but Higgins and Boyd, against, a shady 2, 3, 4 corner that has been banged up. I think with those short passes and even medium range passes, they can take advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree. They got plenty of weapons on that Bengals offense, as you said, and they have to take advantage of that. I do think that Jalen Ramsey is going to predominantly shadow Jamar Chase throughout the game, and I can't wait to see that matchup. It's going to be very interesting to see. Jalen Ramsey got burnt once, already by Mike Evans earlier in the playoffs, so he doesn't want to let that happen in the Super Bowl, nonetheless, to Jamar Chase. But use those weapons, Boyd and T. Higgins, to your advantage, and try and expose the other weaknesses in that secondary.
Yeah, speaking of shaking up, though, let's talk some injuries now. Some of the notable injuries coming into this game. We got Cam Akers questionable with a shoulder injury. T. Higgins questionable, or Tyler Higbee, my bad, questionable with a knee injury. Van Jefferson questionable with a knee injury as well. Jalen Ramsey with a shoulder injury questionable. And Andrew Whitworth questionable with a knee for the Rams there. Now for the Bengals, it's only Cam Staple who's questionable with a groin injury, and CJ Uzama questionable with a knee. Do you think that these injuries might have an effect on the game?
I think definitely the Rams, at least with the list you mentioned. I know CJ Uzoma, as I was mentioning earlier, with the weapons. I don't know, have any inside sources, but I would imagine, those guys, all of them that are kind of questionable, will of course try and play and just put it on the line, especially with the biggest game of the season and of course all the recovery time. But yeah, I think the Rams, their tight end, I know that their backup, name slipping me right now, had a good game against the 49ers and really was a security blanket for Stafford. So I think that it might be a factor for the Rams, with Akers and Higbee not being in there, but also with the Bengals too. You have Uzoma has been a great security blanket for Joe Burrow on that side of the ball, and if he can't go, that'll definitely play a factor for them.
Yeah, as you said, I would think that most of these guys who are questionable most likely will do everything in their power to play, and I believe, like you said, last game of the season, regardless, for the Super Bowl, for everything, that you've, worked hard for. So, I would imagine most of these players play, but again, that was a longer list for the Rams, so I'd be a bit more concerned on their side of the ball than I would with the Bengals side.
All right, boys, it's now time for the predictions. I want to hear it from you guys first. What do you got? Let's start on the top left here. Jacob Smedley, the man in orange. Give me what you got.
Yeah, repping a team that is nowhere near a championship in
Don't
any
remind
way. Nate, I just put Nate in a terrible mood. Okay, so let's see. It's tough, I hate to be that. I hope everyone has fun, but that's the mindset I'm in. It's a Super Bowl where I'd love it if the Bengals win. I'd love it for my uncle and the 10 Rams fans out there if they win. But for who I think's gonna win, I think the Rams are going to get it done. I'm kind of rooting for the Bengals, but I think the Rams will win. I think they'll win 34-31. 3-point game. Nate, I might have taken Nate's score over there, but that's what I think the Rams will win 34-31. High scoring, but they win by 3.
Well, let's find out. Nate, you go next.
Yeah, well, as Jake said, for me personally, I'm fine with both of these teams having made it to the Super Bowl. No disdain against either of them. I want a great matchup, as we all do. I think we will get a great matchup. But when it comes down to it, you know what, man? It's Joe Burrow's year. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. I just have faith in them, man. They're playing with such confidence, such swagger. And
you saw him walking in the Arrowhead with that fit gone. Oh, dude, my gosh.
Man,
it was over right then and there.
Iced out, yeah. You knew before the game had even started that it was already over. I think it'll be a close, tight game. And honestly, I think it's going to come down to Money McPherson. A game-winning field goal. You know what? I'm going to go 31-28. Bengals win it.
All right, Sam, over to you.
So if I had to pick one of these teams, both of these teams look, obviously they got to the Super Bowl. Of course, they look really good. But I think the one that defines themselves the most is going to be the Rams. I feel like the Rams are just a more powerful team overall. I mean, Matthew Stafford, a 13-year veteran. You have a really good defense behind him that's consistent and get stuff done. I think the Bengals are just an offensive powerhouse who's able to score a lot, but I don't think their defense is going to be able to just keep up with the Rams offense. I don't think they're going to match them evenly. If I had to give a score prediction, I think it's going to be a little bit wider. I'd say that it's going to be like 34 to 24 if I had to pick a score. I just feel like there's going to be there. I feel like we're just really going to see the gap in where the defense just doesn't. The Cincinnati Bengals defense doesn't help Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow might be firing on all cylinders, but I think Matthew Stafford takes this one.
So what I'm hearing is Sam has taken the favoring here. The Rams, was it 4.5? Nate's going with the money line, and I'm going with the under in terms of the closeness. All right, Justin. Sorry to interrupt your prediction.
Of course, but it's now my time to take over here. So, tough game here. We got two teams that are really playing very well in the playoffs here, but I think as there can only be one winner, I'm gonna have to go with the Los Angeles Rams winning this football game. Matthew Stafford is just so good this season. I think he'll continue that into the Super Bowl, and I think that defense, that front seven, is just going to be playing lights out in the most important game of the season. I think they're really going to show up. I think it'll be close, though. Not quite a 3-point game, not a 10-point game, though. I'm going 34-28, the final score here.
All right. We're all in that kind of 3 to 10 range. Sam with the wider gap, and Justin, Nate, and I, we're all going around 6 to 3.
As I said, as long as it's a good game, I don't care who wins. Just great game. That's all I hope for.
Don't put your money on that, folks. Though last time we picked, we were no close.
We actually do kind of suck at these. I'm not gonna lie.
Appreciate the comment from Sam, adding that in. All right, that perfect. I guess segue. Recollecting, guys. Sports podcast. We've been on YouTube and Spotify for, of course, less time, but for now a little over 2 years. Of course, the anniversary of the 2-year anniversary of the podcast. Just a few days as we are recording this now, guys. It's been a journey from a high school group project at the beginning of senior year, before everything, well, I guess middle of senior year, before everything kind of turned on its head. We just continue to do it, and we enjoy hopping on these Zoom calls for the people. While we might be miles apart from one another, we do it for the people. So guys, any legendary moments that are your favorite on these podcasts behind the scenes as a whole?
Jake, I think I could think about 50 favorite moments. There's just been there's always.
Start naming them, Sam. Start naming them.
Okay. Well,
start with your favorite.
He took notes for that. He's got the notes list for that already.
I think my favorite has to be the McCrowley moment.
I knew you were gonna say it. It has to be.
So in the wild card also, Eagles, Seahawks. The Eagles follow the Seahawks with the same score, mind you, as the last time they met the Seahawks, 17-9. But Carson Wentz got hurt. They brought in McCrowley from
McCown.
McCown. I don't even know. They brought him in. He's 40 years old. Hadn't taken a snap in 5 months. And I say he hell of a game because he had a torn hamstring.
So if I could give a little story back here. So Peter's going off about the Eagles. I forget specifically what game it was, but he was talking about
this
it was against the Seahawks. The playoffs.
It was in the playoffs that season. Yep.
Yes, and he talks about who was it? He talks about
it was Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, he was talking about
the Seahawks.
Yeah, no. So he said
Josh McCown.
I remember.
Well, McCown, said, both. That's the origin
Carson Wentz
of the
gets injured. So he's like, Carson Wentz goes down. He gets injured. They brought in McCrowley, and I obviously I'm not too in tune with football, but I knew that just wasn't right. And I look at Jake for like a second. Me and Jake look at each other like, who is he talking about? And then
I looked at him, but he didn't look at me. He was just looking down at that point, and I was like,
And then Jake goes, Josh McCown.
yeah, and then he says, Josh McCown. You're right. Yeah, I don't even know.
He comes in with a torn hamstring, and then he
starts laughing at that point.
Cut,
because
we
all know.
Starts cursing up a storm. Oh my god, it was so funny. We had to have laughed for like a good 5 minutes.
We recorded that in Moyer's room, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was in the
buddies,
Moyer's room.
Who was in our class? He was
he
was the tech co-op guy, and he let us use his room to record.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's probably my favorite moment.
I gotta go to one that makes the cut that we still make fun of him for this day. Zion Williamson, guys.
Yeah, that's
come on.
In third place, defending NBA champion Toronto Raptors round out the top teams in the East.
Whoa, hold up, Sam. Before you go to the Western Conference,
Zion Williamson. Stop. Zion Williamson. Did you see his game last night?
Oh, of course saw that.
His NBA
That was crazy.
debut.
I mean,
I like how the first two we bring up Peter
that was
immediately.
Like the first thing. Like,
that one,
I wanted to go talk about basketball, like the schedule, and he just completely interrupts me and just switches it to Zion. Like I was going to transition.
Stop. Zion
Williamson.
I was like, well, I guess I'm flipping my script now. So, but. No, I mean
how that has aged. My goodness,
that's like the defining moment. That's like one of our that was like probably the first defining moment of our podcast, the Zion Williamson.
Yeah, I mean, because before that we didn't really have an identity, and then boom, this kid comes in, Zion Williamson, let's go.
I was like, once he said that, we're filming this one.
Those two incidents were in the same first episode, weren't they?
Yes,
they were.
Yeah.
Which
is incredible.
They spread over like a couple days though. Like I think.
Well, yeah, of course.
But Peter
we had to go in there.
I like how
multiple times.
Peter's like the main person behind these, and he's not even here today. That's very unfortunate.
Oh, it's a shame. And he's the reason you guys got one less point on that project than me and Aaron.
Yeah,
that's true.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Even with someone swearing in your podcast.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Guess she didn't care about that. She was like, "You're seniors, it's fine."
Yeah, Miss Hugo, if you're watching, if any episode you would be listening or watching, this would be it. Great that we lost a point on that assignment.
And we're the only podcast from that class still going.
Great point.
Yeah, great
Hey,
point.
got any favorite moments?
Oh boy. I mean, you guys have summed up the two most famous moments in this podcast history that I wasn't even there to witness.
Yeah,
we
brought you on a little later here because technically you weren't part of our group project, but
yes,
you weren't in the same class.
Sports mind.
Yeah.
No, we weren't. Fortunately, I had to do it with Aaron, but we got a better grade than you guys, so that's all that matters in regards to that. So
all that matters really is that I got the best grade in the whole class. So I mean,
oh okay, yeah,
yeah.
Yes,
Nate is saying his favorite moment. Justin, will you let him finish?
I would like to
stop making it about you.
It's always about me.
It's so tough because we've sat down and recorded so many of these episodes together, and we've been in the waiting room, waiting on certain people at times, myself included, post, episode talking, for even an hour or two, it's been a great ride. I have to say some of my favorite moments come with our guests.
Yes.
Joe coming on, my goodness, talking hockey, talking the draft. My man,
Dude, Joe drinking that soda and then he was burping the whole time.
That was great.
I would like to officially congratulate you on your fantasy one.
Let's go! Let's go!
I told you it was
The
possible.
Lightning got the dub in overtime.
Let's go!
That seals the deal for me.
Let's go!
It happens, man. Hey,
congratulations.
Yo, and Brandon Point scored another point. Let's
go. He had the assist on the winning goal.
Yo,
the only way I could have won that
is if Columbus would have scored.
If the Lightning would have won.
Definitely one of my favorites moments that I think I've been a part of. Me and Joe, roommates at the time, and it was just so much fun bringing him on. And you can look forward to him being on in the future because once the draft episode rolls around, I know he would love to be on. So
Yeah, he mentioned
we'll make
that
it
to me.
happen. So
Yearly
I'd say-
tradition, having Joe on
Yeah.
for a draft segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I quickly mentioned this. Bringing poor Cameron on and then Peter interrupting him and not letting him talk the whole time.
Yes, dude.
I was like, "What the hell, Pete?" But it was a great time.
What team are you looking at here to go into March Madness feeling confident about?
I mean, I'm always confident in Virginia, you know.
Virginia.
But, you know,
having a rough year this year.
They have their struggles, but a lot of teams that I'm looking, or at least the team I'm looking at, is Gonzaga.
I was gonna say Gonzaga might be one of those sneaky teams that people are kind of like, okay, they're doing good, but.
And then
So
the
those are
second
two of
time
my
we tried to
favorite
have him
moments.
on, he couldn't port his stuff over to me. So actually I had to cut him from the episode. He's in the behind the scenes, but I had to cut him from the whole episode. Whitney, you know what to do now?
Probably send that to you.
Yeah, so do it. And rename it. Gotta rename it.
I did rename it. Is
What?
Cameron Whitney sexiness okay?
That'll do just fine. That'll do just fine.
Definitely okay. I will definitely.
Oh, you know it's his. You know it's his.
Yeah. I can't mistake that.
I thought, okay, I was just making sure.
I felt so bad.
That was some great hours of me and you just waiting here, talking with him, waiting for him to put the stuff
And
in.
then he didn't even send you like that thing. He just sent you a picture of himself.
He called it Cameron Whitney sexiness.
Yeah, that is Cam. Oh man. I mean, you guys have covered the plethora. I know, the guests have been great. All of our, some of our friends, mine, you guys have hopped on. Of course, it great all around. Again, the behind the scenes stuff as well. Definitely check out those videos. Not a self plug here, but yeah, I think. I'll go back to even before. I think Justin was at home. He was sick, and me, Sam, and Peter went to interview a teacher of ours, Mr. Pegg, behind the mats legend. Hope maybe someday we could either see him again in person or even have him on the the podcast.
And now we're going to move on to our interview with today's special guest.
I'm here with the man behind the maps, Mr. Pegg. All right, so Mr. Pegg, what are your thoughts on the 2019-2020 NFL season?
I think it was a terrible season because the Redskins were out of the playoffs after game one.
But anyway, we were standing in the I guess what do you call that? Like the gym closet or whatever, where all the stuff he was standing in there. Plotting out our interview for Mr. Pegg that me and Sam didn't even do. We went into his classroom. Yeah,
it was supposed to be me and Peter.
Yeah, with Mr. Mass.
But I had
me and Sam stand at the door. Peter just walks up to his desk and starts asking him questions. That's I guess another memory. Favorite for mine, of course, has to be the McCrowley Zion Williamson. But, another great memory that was of the forms of the origins of the podcast.
Something I want to mention, actually, was when we were talking the one time in the behind the scenes, and we were just, all of a sudden we started talking about when we get sponsored. We were talking about, Manscaped and, Raid Shadow Legends.
Yes. We should get sponsored by Manscaped. Use code Lunch Hour Sports Podcast to get 20% off.
Use code LHSP.
Bro, do you want to be able to talk sports the best? Then trim your down there. Use the code LHSP for 20% off this wonderful Manscaped package.
But Jacob, I can't trust my to just anyone.
Damn. Yeah, we should have Sam do it. We should have Sam do it to say everything. That would even enhance it even more. Dude,
that commercial would go on forever, dude. That advertisement would be
hey, still sponsor us if they're watching.
Of course.
Sam will do the perfect ad read for Manscaped.
Well, that's another thing though, is that when we did the ad read, me and you, Jacob, we were on the same wavelength. We're like, oh yeah, of course. You're supposed to record these and then just like
Oh my God.
listen to it back to the end. But this guy, as we're doing it,
You said we
we're
were
just like,
doing a
okay,
test
we're
run.
good. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna be done soon. And we're like, what do you mean? We're already done. He's like, what? I didn't record it. Why'd you say that?
What are you talking about?
We already recorded the advertisement. I just can't wait to edit it.
Oh, I didn't even record it on my phone. No, I didn't. You said we were running through it.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh
Sam.
no.
What the fuck are you You said we were running through it.
I hate you, Sam.
You've blown it, Sam. You've blown
Listen, no.
You had one job, Sam.
Wait, hold up.
I can't believe you've done this.
Justin, Sam, you're done. You're not recording. You're not.
No, wait.
You lost
hang
your
on.
privilege.
You said we were doing like a test run. You said we were running through it.
Oh,
You
my
did. Oh, you wanted to record. We want to record it and listen to it over.
I thought it was a good one time go and that was it, but no.
That's stupid. You said we were doing a test run and we were running.
You record
test run where you record it.
Yeah, because you said we were doing a test run.
Yeah, you record those.
Yeah,
Sam,
to
but-
record those, so you can, if it's good, you use it.
Yeah, and we did it very well the first time. You'll never hear Sam's first take, but
it was good.
It was good. Yeah, the second one was not as good, but the first one was pretty good.
And if we're on the topic of Sam, Mr. Countdown, who didn't see the countdown and was just completely...
Well,
I know
also,
he's
like,
been
there
having
were
a
times
rough
where my,
past few
computer-
days.
There was
but,
a time where my computer, like, there was just one time my internet just cut out, like, completely. And, like, everything just froze. I was like, oh, that's cool.
This show on the road. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast. Here with your hosts, Jacob Smedley.
Sorry about that. I had to put my computer closed on it, and then yeah.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
All right.
All
So
right.
we're gonna redo this now?
Yeah, I think so. Oh my god.
You guys hear me now?
Justin, I think I know where that's going.
Oh man.
Sam, are you good over there?
Yeah, my computer closed on itself. My bad.
Do you want me to keep
Oh
that
my God.
recording, Justin?
No.
I just
What are you guys
deleted
talking
mine. We're gonna count down again.
Oh, did you guys start without me?
Yeah. Well,
I did the countdown. You
Oh,
must
I'm
not
sorry.
have seen it. I started
Back
talking.
my computer closed on itself. My bad.
Oh,
God.
no.
Oh my god, that was
All right.
that was genius. Okay. I just got a
Oh man, I should have counted it. What was that? That was at least 30 seconds.
Oh, it was like 40 on my
Oh
phone.
well, that was the time when he was just sitting there, like after we did like the intro.
Yeah, and like, and then you guys wonder why I was sitting there. Well, my
Yeah,
internet
you're like,
got out.
you're like, take it away,
And now
Sam, and then
here's
he's just
Sam.
like,
He's nothing.
yeah, just he's sitting there
Silent.
like. That was
great.
perfect. That was perfect comedy.
The timing was impeccable there.
It was.
Quick mention, I guess. I'd say, the Among Us streams that we've done with this group, I think have been incredible in the past. Bringing people on board. Obviously, it was for a great cause.
The
Twice for charity. But in general, just I think a very fun experience that I think we all shared as well on this podcast. And one other thing I wanted to mention was Justin recording in his closet.
Oh yeah,
I completely forgot. I just remembered that sitting here. Was this man recording hunched over in his closet in the dark?
A light going on and off.
There's a story about that. It's because at the time I didn't have a desk in my room. Like I was doing all my classes from my bed, but I didn't just want to like have it be like my face, and especially since my room doesn't have good acoustics. So I went into my closet because I know that clothes actually help with sound. And I didn't have a good mic at the time either, so that obviously helps now, but I just had my phone, so I would just go into my closet. I would be scrunched up, and there was really small, really tiny. I'd be like, it'd be so uncomfortable. I'd be dying. I'd be like, in so much pain, yet I wouldn't show it to you guys because, like, you know.
The perseverance. The perseverance. Dedication.
I would just sit there the whole time.
That's dedication right there, folks. Dedication.
One more of my favorite moments. This was like I had just gone on the Zoom. It was me and Justin. Justin was talking to me about some stuff. All of a sudden, I just see him like go off to the right a little bit. I'm like, what's going on? All of a sudden, everything just falls down. His light falls down. His computer falls down. I'm like, oh no! I like started laughing. I'm like, yo, is everything okay?
Yesterday.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the car ride. Oh.
Oh my god! Is everything okay?
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. What's happening here?
Oh my god! I just see you like start going sideways. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe I can show you actually.
Please tell me you were recording that.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, everything's good. And it just like, I just remember like talking to him, and then he's just like, so anyway, and and then I'm like, he just like slow motion like started going away.
Yeah, I do remember that, Sam. That is actually really funny.
Justin got kidnapped. He is a hologram of himself right now.
Yeah, I was killed a long time ago. Yeah.
Back in episode like 10.
One that I also wanted to mention was there was one time when Nate had turned off his camera, and then I think he was doing work or something in the background, and we all were like, hey Nate, what are you doing? You know, and then I was like, come on, we want to see your face from behind the scenes. And so then he just like puts up his middle fingers and he's like putting them all into the camera. And I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna blur up. And then he like starts like doing like sword fighting with them and stuff.
I do recall that. I don't remember why I turned my camera
Did you?
off,
You had to.
Oh,
you blurred that. Did you blur? You used that logos to blur?
Yeah, I put our logo over it, but it, like the sounds that he was making, and the reactions that we did, it sounded like he was showing us like his genitals. So,
oh yes, I do remember
what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm listening. I'm talking and working at the same time.
Got you.
I don't want you to see my focus.
You'll start your video later? No, you'll start your video now. I'm the moderator.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it? That's right.
I can do so much. I can make you leave. I can mute you. I can do so many things.
He has the power. With great power.
Oh, that's so many.
Put this in your behind the scenes.
Man, that's
this is your behind the scenes.
That's so much work in editing. Come on, man.
Dude, now you have to get the blurs out.
Now you
have to
get the
listening
out.
all the He's getting the emo now.
You're getting us demonetized.
Demonetized.
Dude, he's
well,
getting
there goes all that behind the
Yo.
scenes footage. No longer.
Nate, you have thoroughly raped me here.
Thoroughly.
Let's go.
I can't confirm, but
Yeah, I mean, he did not, but
I remember doing that, but I don't remember why I turned my camera off.
I don't either, but I mean, I remember it happening, and
in the first place,
it was funny.
No, that was great. I know you.
Yeah, was that pre or post when we started doing the behind the scenes? Because if that
was behind the scenes, he knew that we were doing behind the scenes at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think
that's why he did it, because then he knew it was extra work and everything. That's why.
I think that was literally like the second episode or whatever. It was like right when we started like doing it's not like we've been doing those since the beginning, but you know, it's like once we started doing that. Any more memories here before we wrap up that you guys can think of? I mean, the behind the scenes stuff, priceless. That you guys should all check out.
Can't forget about Jackie Kennedy, can we?
Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie Kennedy.
Oh my god!
Of course.
Well, I thought it was Jackie Kennedy was just kind of something like that I got from watching like an old YouTuber. He did a Road to the Show with He like made a character called Big Daddy Dirtbag.
And so you ported it to the podcast.
That was his name. But Jackie Kennedy was actually, he like simulated like probably like 5 or so years into the future. And Jackie Kennedy was one of these left-handed pitchers for the. He was a fake character essentially. He was just a game-generated character. And I like, his design looks really cool. He had the glasses. He was a taller guy. So then I would like what? So then I was like, you know what? Why don't you just pick him out? I kind of created my own Jackie Kennedy based on the MLB The Show 15 graphics as best I could on 21, and I just kind of played with him a little bit, and then he made it. He made it to the MLB. He made it to the Toronto Blue Jays, and then I was just like, people kind of simulate these games as if they were real, maybe we could just do something like that for the podcast. Obviously no one could see it. It would be better if people could maybe see the gameplay or something like that. But I don't know. I thought it was
if they could see the gameplay.
Probably. I just feel
I thought it was a creative idea, but at the same time, because you were trying to fill because nothing was going on at that point because of COVID, but at the same time it was yeah, this is what people.
And it was also
it's not a hypothetical Hall of Fame series.
No, Madden career mode, then maybe you change your tune, but
not really. If I create my own character in Madden, I'm not going to show people on the podcast. That's just me, though.
I guess one more thing, when Justin said oh, I want to do behind the scenes stuff, and we're cool, and then I was just are you recording? He's no, I'm not recording, and then at the end he's yeah, I lied to you, I was recording. I was
I needed to get your genuine reaction. That's still one of my favorite parts of all the behind the scenes when I tell you guys and you're what? That was so good.
Because you lied to us.
I guess on that Jackie Kennedy note, I remembered looking on the Instagram page, we still have the video of all of us at Cole's house recording the first episode with Nate in as a host, the microphone there and everything like that.
Do you remember that? Because I remember when Cole was in the episode, he just started talking about advertising.
And movies
around
too.
the
I was
Super Bowl.
Movies,
I was
commercials. So.
I was let's wrap this up.
That was literally before the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Weren't we talking about that?
Yeah,
that
was post.
So I guess it was
post.
It was kind of about it, but then we got into movies, and I was wait a second.
Hold
up. From a sports
up.
podcast to I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
That'll be on our second channel, the Lunch Hour movie
Lunch Hour movie podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I mean, this is, of course, not the end. We don't want to make it seem like the end. Just, of course, an anniversary recollection of our favorite moments so far. Of course, so happy to be doing it with you guys. It's great, of course, while we're, as I said before, miles apart, getting to talk about sports on a Zoom meeting with you guys. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Anchor, for sponsoring this episode of the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast. You can find future episodes of the Lunch Hour Sports Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Again, thank you for listening.